Hey there, beautiful soul, how are you feeling? I'm Jerry Sargeant, the founder of Star Magic Healing. Some people call me the Facilitator, some people call me the Spiritual Gangster. And I'd like to start with sharing a little story with you. Last year, I was in Barcelona in Spain, and we were running a group healing experience for a large bunch of souls that had all come from all over the planet. And there were two people that came from France, an English woman and a French man. They were husband and wife, and the man came in a wheelchair, and he'd been paralyzed for 18 months down the right hand side of his body. He'd had a stroke, and they came to the group healing. We took them through the process, and on the second day of the group healing, this gentleman, he stood up from his wheelchair and he started walking. We took him through our normal routine, doing very specific types of breath work, and then I ran the God's mouth technique on him, which Star Magic is famous for, where we put the right hand over the back of the neck, the left hand over the forehead, and we run very specific codes through the pineal gland. The guy had a very profound biological upgrade, and he stood from his wheelchair. Now, what was incredible about this story is this. His wife was in the lotus position, sat on the floor with a Star Magic blindfold on, and she was meditating. I went over to her, crouched down on the floor, and I whispered into her ear, "Your husband's walking." And she kind of got shell-shocked. She was like a rabbit between headlights. She didn't know what to do. After maybe 4, 5, 6 seconds, which seemed like an eternity after what I told her, she lifted up her blindfold, looked me in the eyes, turned around, looked back at her husband in the corner. By this time, he's back in his wheelchair. So she jumps up, she runs over to him, and she straddles him. And like, they're both ecstatic. It's so beautiful to watch. She's kissing him, she's hugging him, he's hugging her back. And then she realizes, I've not seen you walk yet. She jumps off of him and she goes and stands next to him, and she's looking at me as though to say, did he really walk? And so then he gets up out of his wheelchair and he starts walking, and she's jumping up and down like a little kid, you know, like a little 3 or 4 year old that's just seen Santa Claus come down the chimney and got all these presents. It was like the best gift she could ever have. And what was fascinating, you could see the weight just drop off of her. She'd been wiping his ass, putting his socks on, bathing him, putting him into bed, getting him up in the morning, doing all of these things, and you could just see it all fall away. Him getting up out of the wheelchair was brilliant. It was beautiful. It blew my mind. And every single time a healing like this happens, it blows my mind. And we see it all the time. But her face was priceless. Now, I've trained thousands of people in more than 85 countries to heal with the Star Magic frequency. And we travel the world running these workshops and trainings and tours of Peru and Egypt and group healing experiences, Elite Beast Superhuman workshops. We've got a level 1, a level 2 and a level 3 training. We have so much that we're doing for the planet and so many people that we're helping. And we're in the process of also building our first healing center in Transylvania in Romania at the moment, built out of this sacred geometrical code. It's absolutely beautiful, and we're going to build 13 of them, and they're going to create a grid around the planet which is going to raise levels of human consciousness in an unprecedented fashion. Now, my life didn't always used to be like this, and this is why they call me the Spiritual Gangster, because I used to have a very different lifestyle. I used to smuggle drugs, I used to smuggle guns, I was into lots of high-level bank frauds, and as a kid I was very angry. I was fostered, adopted, I was abused as a child, sexually, physically, and I grew up very, very angry. I played rugby, I played soccer, I played tennis, and I played them all at a high level, but I had to give up 2 to just focus on 1, and I chose rugby. My mum and dad couldn't really afford the private tennis lessons, and I much preferred the hard hits over the soccer. So I focused on rugby. I got banned from playing rugby when I was 14 or 15 years old, and I turned to drink, I turned to drugs, my life spiraled out of control, and I ended up moving to Tenerife in the Canary Islands in my late teens and working for a high-profile criminal organization. And this went on for years. I ended up meeting my future wife-to-be, we had a baby together. My future wife-to-be at the time didn't have a passport, so I had to smuggle her and my daughter back into England to get married. We did that. We set up a property business. We made millions in the first year, lost it all. I went back to selling drugs, made lots of money, set up another property business. That didn't go too well. So I was up and down, making and losing. And in 2005, I was in Romania with my wife by then, and 2 children, Alea and Josh, and we were in a serious car accident. The taxi that I was in ran 3 ladies over. The first one came through the ripped windscreen, smashed me in the face, got flipped over the car. The second one had her ankles cut off, and the third one was physically okay. I didn't know any of this had happened because I was asleep. When the car stopped and I got out of the taxi, I walked up the road and I saw the lady's soul leave her body. And this is what woke me up and helped me start my spiritual journey. It was like the universe smacking me around the face with a baseball bat in human form, literally, and waking me up. And things just started to happen. I met a lady who worked for Scotland Yard in the psychic division. She became my first teacher, my spiritual teacher. She taught me how to remote view, how to bring my light out of my body and travel, how to communicate telepathically, collect information from the field, all sorts of really interesting skill sets, which came in very useful later in life. My wife at the time had a headache, and I went over to her and saw it inside her head, a really bad migraine, and I saw the energy of it. It was green, so I pulled it out of her head. She got up off the bed like she didn't have a headache, and all these different experiences were just happening. I moved to New Zealand in 2009, had encounters with extraterrestrials. I met an old guy that taught me how to meditate. I had an encounter with Yeshua, all sorts of different experiences. But what happened when I was having these extraterrestrial encounters is they were downloading codes into me. We ended up moving back to the UK 4 years later, and I started seeing fairies and angels and having more multidimensional experiences. I wrote a book called Into the Light. I met Archangel Gabriel, and all of these experiences led me to mystery schools in Egypt. I was going every morning for 9 months for 2 hours with my son in meditation, and we were sat in these classrooms, and there was a guy at the front of the classroom getting out these ancient scrolls, and on these ancient scrolls were codes, and these codes were codes that got downloaded into my crown when I was meeting the extraterrestrials, and it was codes that I was seeing every day when I was writing the book Into the Light. And after writing the book Into the Light, I started seeing these codes everywhere, and we were being shown how to use them to heal people. People were coming into my life that needed healing, and so I was trying this stuff and it was working, and I thought to myself, maybe we can set up a business and make money from this. But what happened when I moved back from New Zealand to England, I actually got arrested for conspiracy to defraud the Bank of Scotland and holding a false travel document from 2007. So I was looking at a long prison sentence. I was on bail for 2 years, still learning all of this healing. One of the things that we were doing too is we were still stealing money from banks, and I was actually giving this money to charities in Africa, building water pipelines, building schools, permaculture projects, and this was really changing me. And so whilst I was learning the healing, donating this money, and changing on a human level, realizing that I didn't need this money for my ego and these nice watches and all this material stuff, I could actually give it away and help the human race. So I was changing fundamentally at a baseline level. And so I said to the universe, listen, if you get me off this court case, I promise you, I will give up everything and focus on the healing. So I went to court. I was stood in a bulletproof dock in London, and the judge walked in, a man, and he had 2 accomplices, 2 females, and the woman to his right, to my left, had wings on her back, like angel wings, and I could see them, and she looked at me and winked. I was thinking, no way. Anyway, the prosecution gave their side of the story. They made me out to look terrible. My defense gave our side of the story. They questioned me. They went out and deliberated, came back in 40 minutes later and said, we can see you're a changed man, Mr. Sargeant. We're going to give you a 1-year conditional discharge and an £80 court fee. You're free to go. So I walked out of court. The police officer on the way came up to me and said, you should have gone down for a very long time today, Jerry. And I smiled and said, I know, but I didn't. I walked out of the court, and that's when I knew star magic. This was in 2015, and in March 2016 we started the business, which is more like a mission. And we did our very first Facilitator training in February 2017, and people turned up from all over the world, and I was like, what are you doing here? I'd written another book by then called Healing with Light Frequencies, the transformative power of star magic, because the same extraterrestrials that I was meeting were coming to visit me again, and they were showing me healing centers. They told me that I needed to build them, and I said to them, if I build them, who's going to work in them? They said, you need to train people. So I went and wrote this other book and designed the training program in 2016, and the book got published in 2017, and we launched the first Facilitator training level 1. And like I was saying, people turned up from all over the world, from Egypt, from Ireland, from Canada, from Australia, from America, everywhere. And I was like, I just couldn't believe that it was happening. But we did our first training, which was kind of like the wild, wild west. And over the last 10 years, we've refined it, we've got it better, and we've trained thousands of souls all over the planet. And so we have Facilitator Training 1, Facilitator Training 2, Facilitator Training 3. The first one is all about the gifts and the skills and the tools. Unlocking your natural gifts, helping you remember the truth that you are a cosmic being here in human form, and allowing you to activate your potential so you can go out into the world, heal yourself, heal other people, heal groups of people. It's a full healing arsenal. It's everything that you require to be a powerful facilitator. We've trained people as old and wise as 98 years old, people from all walks of life, stay-at-home mums, stay-at-home dads, military personnel, police officers, accountants, lawyers, dustbin men, people from every single facet of reality, all over the planet, and everyone can do it. We break down what is deemed to be quite complicated, and we help people make it very simple. There's no one that's been through our training that can't do it. We have so many case studies. You can go and see tumors being removed, spines being straightened. I remember when I was in California a couple of years back, and there was a 10-year-old boy, and he was the only person that put his hand up to be a volunteer to straighten the lady's spine. A lady with kyphoscoliosis, which is a corkscrew spine and an S shape. He didn't touch her and straightened it within 40 minutes. You can see the medical evidence on our website. We've done brain scans with neuroscientists, and they say that the work we do in 6 hours is more profound than what they've seen on brain scans and people doing plant medicine for 10 days. What we do in Star Magic is so powerful. And the reason we're training people is because we're building these healing centers. So we're training a team of Star Magic soldiers to be deployed into these healing centers to help humanity, to raise levels of consciousness. Once you've been through level 1, you get the opportunity to join our team. You can travel with me and the rest of the inner circle, running these retreats, running these tours, helping human beings hands-on the front line. There's nothing better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. And every single soul that goes through level 1 has the opportunity to get involved. It's a choice that you have to decide as a human being. Once you've been through level 1, you can do level 2. And level 2 is called the frequency upgrade. This is for those souls that want to get deeper into the human experience, realizing that we're Stargate Guardians. We can walk through portals, we can open and close Stargates, and we start to help you unlock your true potential. We switch your architecture from 3D to 4D to 5D, so you're living in a 5th dimensional time space, which means you operate at a completely different level. A completely different level. We show you how to access the Stargates, how to work with the planetary grids, how to work with the ley lines and the dragon lines, and actually be of service, not just to our sisters and brothers on this planet, but to Mother Earth herself, our sacred, divine, celestial mother. Once you've been through level 2, you can do level 3, which is a longer training. Level 1 is 5 days with 2 bonus days, level 2 is 5 days with 2 bonus days, and level 3 is 7 days straight off the bat with a bonus day. Level 3 is called Through the Stargates, and I am going to share with you the deep, deep knowledge and the deep, deep secrets that I was given by my extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, my Lyran family, to take groups of people on deep explorative journeys through the multi-dimensional time matrix. You'll be able to open portals, take groups of people through, and go to temple spaces all over the universe where they can heal at such a profound level. They can have upgrades and downloads, and once you've done this training, it changes you fundamentally as a human, because doing a meditation is not just doing a meditation. You have to become the meditation, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's a potent training, and what everyone says afterwards is, I just can't believe how much I got to understand myself. I really didn't realize this about myself. You see, to be able to take a group of people through a deep frequency encoded meditation in a safe fashion, and do it with care, do it with calmness, do it with presence, do it in such a way that the human beings are safe and get all of the energy healing and downloads and upgrades that they need. It takes a very specific character, and I'm going to show you how to step into that version of yourself. These 3 trainings in total will equip you for absolutely everything you need healing wise. We've trained Reiki masters, Reiki healers, quantum healers, bioenergy healers, people from all walks of life, from reconnective healing, you name it. We've trained veterans in the scene and people that come to us say, I just can't believe it. This is what I've been looking for 20, 30 years. I knew there was another level. I just couldn't find it. Star Magic is where it's at. You can be a complete beginner and come into this training. You can be an advanced veteran and come into the training. The training will meet you where you're at. We'll show you how to dissolve fibromyalgia, how to dissolve cancerous tumors. You know, you go to our website in our case study section, you're going to see people that had brain tumors the size of oranges. The doctor said, you're going to be dead in 8 weeks. They're still alive 8-9 years later with no tumors. How is that possible? Well, they engaged with Star Magic. They changed their inner mathematical code. And that is something that is massive in Star Magic. Most people on planet Earth are playing around with the Fibonacci sequence. 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, and so on. 8 has to eat 5 and 3 to make itself. 13 has to eat 8 and 5 to make itself. So the dominant number in the now space has to eat the preceding numbers. There's no connection to the 0 point. So what we do is we switch your energetic template to the crystalline mathematics. 0 plus 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 is 16. The next number is 32. The next number is 64. It's a doubling of numbers, but the number in the now space is a culmination of all the preceding numbers back to the 0 point. So as this spiral moves out from the 0 point, it maintains its energy, whereas the Fibonacci sequence entropies and collapses. And most people on planet Earth are running the Fibonacci sequence. The reason the guy in Barcelona could get up out of his wheelchair is because we switched him from Fibonacci to crystalline. And this is what we're going to show you how to do. How to go into the back end of someone's biological computer, the body and brain, and switch the code. You see, imagine you wanted to change your website from pink to blue. You'd get a computer programmer, pay him or her some money, they'd go into the back end, punch some numbers on the keyboard, and then the code would change. And then the front end of the website would go from pink to blue. You see, if someone's got liver cancer, if someone's got heart disease, neck problems, if they've got neck problems, I know that they're rigid and stubborn. If they've got problems with their pancreas, I know they've been betrayed. If they've got problems with their hips, I know that they don't trust and they're not moving in the right direction. Every body part means something. So if someone comes to me with problems with the pancreas, I'm going to tap into the field intuitively, which I will train you to do if you decide to do our Facilitator Training Level 1, and go into the field. Find where the soul was betrayed. Maybe it's this lifetime, maybe it's a future life or a past life, or maybe multiple. So I'm going to find the life or the lives, and I'm going to change the code in the back end by bringing the soul fragments into healing. When I do that, the code in the computer system changes and the problem with the pancreas dissolves. This is easy. I'm going to take something that a lot of people deem complex and complicated and break it down into bite-sized chunks and offer it to you in a way that you can understand it, that you can take it on board, integrate it, and become it. And you're going to be able to go out into the world and facilitate healing, not just in person, but at distance. So maybe you could set up your own healing business. Maybe you could amplify your existing healing business. Maybe you want to come and work and travel the world with me and the team. There are so many options available to you. But the first step is this. Click the link underneath this video. Engage in our Facilitator Training Level 1, and I will see you on the inside. Once you've engaged in Facilitator Training Level 1, you're going to have ongoing support. Every month we meet twice as a team, once to practice and once to answer your questions. So once you go out into the field and you're working on yourself and other human beings and things arise that you haven't encountered before, you can connect with us twice a month to get everything answered and sorted. We also give you access to our Facebook and our Telegram groups so you can communicate with facilitators all over the world on a daily basis. You're stepping into a powerful tribe and a powerful community.